But what is Kabbalah?
A dark religion that has been covertly consuming the entire world since the beginning of time. It's cleverly disguised itself in many forms and has hijacked almost everything good on earth. Kabbalah. What is Kabbalah? Kabbalah is an ancient occult system of belief, philosophy, cosmology, and most importantly, it's a discipline of ceremonial magic. It is vital to understand. For the last several decades, the Church has been the particular target of a massive flood of books and teachings on mysticism, specifically in the form of Jewish mysticism, or Kabbalah. The result of this demonic campaign has been a departure from the faith. Like the Gnostics, the Kabbalists view secret knowledge as a path to immortality. Mingled with biblical terminology, these secrets are subtly presented as a means of discovering one's hidden destiny and as a way to becoming more like God. Even as mystical teachings are being covertly brought into the Church, what is more astonishing is that many rabbis are openly proclaiming Kabbalah as the only salvation of the world, and that this salvation can only be brought about by a global adherence to the law. This book will attempt to uncover the deception by giving a detailed description of what Kabbalah is and equip believers to recognize it in its morphed form of Christianity. It will also demonstrate that the God of today's Babylonian and Kabbalistic Judaism is not the God of the Bible, and that the current convergence of Christians coming under rabbinic authority will bring them not to the one true God of the Bible, but to the subservience of the God of Kabbalah, Ein Sof, and to its hierarchy of gods. This book will further show that the God of Kabbalah is none other than Lucifer, the serpent and angel of light, whom the sages prophesy will restore knowledge to humanity on a global scale, just as he did in Genesis. The philosophy and doctrines of the Kabbalah are the foundation of the Illuminati. It is a cornerstone of Freemasonry and all occult secret societies, as well as the New Age, Gnostic, Luciferian, and Babylonian mystery religions.
To learn Kabbalah is a very complex thing. I heard conversations of people who claims to teach Kabbalah, very foreign, very dark, very awful methods. I don't want to mention names of one of the most famous teachers of Kabbalah today, very not righteous, a really not righteous man, very, very disappointing, very scary, very dark, and only desiring false methods of the dark secrets and the names, Kabbalistic codes and numeral values. It's like dark and spooky and evil and very bad, very bad.
This next clip of self-proclaimed prophet and Messianic Jew, Rabbi Jonathan Cahn, is extremely concerning. It shows him teaching an audience of Christians concepts out of the Zohar, which is the main book of Kabbalah.
The Zohar speaks, the rabbis are writing, of the redemption of the world. They speak of life from the dead. They speak of the resurrection, the redemption of the world. The rabbis are saying that all the mercy of God comes from Golgotha. From Golgotha, the place where he died. Calvary means the place of the skull. Golgotha means the place of the skull. They get it all confused. It's an incredible mystical thing that I think the Holy Spirit just got in there. It doesn't make any sense at all. It says, and from this drips salvation, drips resurrection. This is from Rabbah Zohar 128b. In the Golgotha, sit thousands of myriads of worlds. And from the Golgotha, drips dew and fills, the dew fills the world, and the dead will awaken in the world to come as the dew comes forth. The dew is the light of the Ancient One. The light of the Ancient One comes from Golgotha, and as it touches, the dead come to life. From Golgotha is the light of God bringing life from the dead. Golgotha, the radiance of God that brings us life. Whoa. That's amazing stuff. And that may be the first time it's ever been said. And now the very hill, the very place here in, of all places, the rabbinical writings, the Zohar, unwittingly gives the name of it, Golgotha, which is exactly what they would have called it, and teaches that Golgotha is the center of everything, of God's mercy. You want mercy, you go there. Listen to the rabbis on that point. Go there.
Jonathan Cahn is so dangerous here because he has cleverly begun initiating millions of unsuspecting evangelical Christians into the deep, dark mysteries of the occult. In every single one of his teachings, Rabbi Jonathan Cahn proclaims to be a prophet, exposing hidden codes and riddled mysteries that only his rabbinic wisdom has been able to decipher. But the truth is that he is deceptively and purposely initiating Christians into the mysteries of high Kabbalism. His followers are being subconsciously programmed to thirst for rabbis and their Jewish mysticism, for hidden spiritual truths rather than holding to the clear and precise teachings of Christ. This is by design and part of the Kabbalist agenda. In God's word, we don't need to decode secret mysteries, unravel sealed up messages, decipher clues, or pull back the veil on hidden things. All that we need, all that God wants us to know, is contained in the Bible. Partaking of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is forbidden. Gnosticism is a very old heresy that teaches that the truth is hidden and has to be decoded, uncovered, unlocked, unveiled, and learned through initiation. Therefore, rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men who turn from the truth. To the pure, all things are pure, but to those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure, but even their mind and conscience are defiled. But you are not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And call no man your father on earth, for you have one Father, who is in heaven. Neither be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Christ. The greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted.
The dangerous Kabbalah is that they want people not studying until they're ready for it because of various reasons. No one would be able to understand that stuff. I myself, I've been kind of emphasizing in the mystical traditions of Judaism for over 20 years now. Whenever I find my way to a piece of Torah that's the dangerous stuff, I never can make heads or tails. I don't understand what in the world's going on over there.
The Kabbalah is a belief system that predates religion and predates Judaism as an organized religion. It's a belief system. It's incredibly scientific, and as I said, it predates religion. I think people, a lot of the rituals, all of the rituals have been appropriated by the Jewish faith. I was looking for something. I'd begun practicing yoga. I find that the Kabbalah and Buddhism and other religions or philosophies that I've been studying they're more adaptable to modern living, to modern life. It makes me think that at one time there was one thought. Yeah, so all paths lead to God.
Yeah. Well, Madonna, if all paths lead to God, then that would mean that everything is true. And if everything were true, then nothing is true. But we read in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, "Wide is a gate and broad is a way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. Narrow is the gate and difficult is the way, which leads to life, and there are few who find it."
Hi, my name is Roseanne Sherry Barr. My Hebrew name is Shana Rivka, and I wrote this book, Roseanarchy, Dispatches from the Nut Farm, and it's about my Jewish upbringing and my Jewish ethics and my Jewish everything. You know, my book is kind of me rewriting Torah because, as they say, after you study Kabbalah for 50 years and are bearded, you are qualified to write commentary.
And I wanted to know the answers, and I heard about these classes they were teaching. I heard they were very scientific in nature, not dogmatic and religious, and it didn't matter where you came from or what religious faith you were brought up in. And I heard the teacher was brilliant.
And he's a rabbi.
He's a rabbi, yeah.
So it's generally considered a sect of Judaism, is it not?
It is the mystical interpretation of the Torah.
Where does Kabbalah come from? The Kabbalah is a religion of the Antichrist and is a revelation of the government of Lucifer. The Kabbalah is the original religion from the serpent in Eden that tempted Eve with the forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The serpent deceived her into believing she too could become like God. The great fall of man began with this forbidden tree, and this same tree is a Sephirot tree in Kabbalah. Kabbalistic knowledge was passed down through satanic secret doctrines of the Chaldean, Phoenician, and Egyptian mystery religions, and was adopted and appropriated by the ancient Israelites while they were being held captive in Babylon between 600 and 500 BC. Kabbalah was then transmitted orally by the rabbis, eventually to be interwoven into what is now considered modern Judaism, as they strayed far from God's commandments, perverting their religion.
So Kabbalah, but always taught in a very secretive group. You had to be on the inside to get the wisdom. You had to know somebody that knew somebody to get invited. Hey, meet me in the forest by the tree, and we have a small study group over there. So you had to be the right type of person. You had to have the right amount of wisdom, and you had to be trusted with this wisdom as well. It's not written for everyone to understand. It's written in a language. It's almost like a map that you need a key to decode. It's like any cryptology. It's written in a language that you need, but instead of, the language is decipherable in and of itself. It's written in Hebrew and Aramaic, and you can read it and translate the words, but the meaning of it, you need that key to really understand it. That as this was taught, secretively, in smaller groups, in exclusive settings, throughout the ages, throughout the centuries, it's important to remember that those teachers and those students, they did understand what it was talking about, obviously. They understood it, and they explained it, and they taught it, and it was well understood. The idea was, though, that this is not meant for everybody, and so we're going to leave it in esoteric language, number one, people shouldn't understand it. Number two, they shouldn't try to understand it. And number three, it can remain kind of the exclusive hold of those that need access to it.
The Kabbalah is a collection of Jewish magical texts which were given to mankind via psychic communion with a fallen angel called Raziel. Raziel is one of a pantheon of so-called fallen angels who serve the light-bringer Lucifer. The Kabbalah describes the many angels and demons who inhabit the spiritual realm. The Kabbalah gives Kabbalists a roadmap called the Tree of Life, which explains how to invoke and communicate with these powerful spirits. The magical information in the Kabbalah originates from Babylon and ancient Egypt at the time of the pharaohs, but did not reach Europe in printed form until the 11th and 12th centuries. The sacred books of the Kabbalah are just a few thousand words long, but they contain complex descriptions of a spherical Earth, parallel universes, and the atomic nature of matter, ideas which have become common doctrine amongst modern physicists and astronomers. How could such complex information be contained in a group of ancient texts barely larger than an average magazine? The answer is that the Kabbalah is written in code. Codes are used to conceal multi-layered complex information which would later be studied by medieval alchemists. Sir Isaac Newton and many leading scientists studied the rich occult sciences within the Kabbalah. There was a time when mysticism, religion, alchemy, astronomy, and astrology were studied as one Kabbalistically based tradition. Jewish physicist Albert Einstein conveyed pages and pages of complex calculations in a simple 5-symbol code. E equals mc squared. Modern-day quantum physics, chaos theory, and the notion of parallel universes can all be traced back to the original texts of the ancient Kabbalah.
When I first made the correlations between Kabbalah and science, I was stunned.
We do know that Isaac Newton had access to certain mystical texts, certain texts of the Kabbalah.
Well, the Kabbalistic description of creation is coming from a single little point, from a speck, and of having matter form and time and space form all together at the very beginning. This sounds very much to me like the description of the Big Bang.
All the things that could destroy string theory, all the things that do destroy every rival theory to string theory, they are all eliminated in precisely 10 and 26 dimensions. These dimensions are magic. We physicists don't know where these dimensions come from.
The Zohar says those things. It could just have been a lucky guess. I don't know.
In her book, Deanne Lauper does a fantastic job at explaining why so many will be deceived by Kabbalah's enlightened pseudoscience quantum physics, and how it embodies the end times religious deception of ecumenism. As in Kabbalah, today's science of quantum physics is a study of the interconnectedness of all things. Matter and energy are said to be held together in a unified field of light. In simple terms, quantum physics is the observation of invisible particles. Atoms, electrons, monads, quarks, superstrings, frequencies, vibrations in another dimension, and the effect of those particles on the material world by the observer. Because everything is made of atoms, we are all one at the subatomic level. We are all part of this force of light that connects and holds everything together. Thus, it is said, the new science of quantum physics will prove what Kabbalah has always taught, that God is in every person.
Tutte le religioni sono un cammino per arrivare a Dio.
Because every religion is a way to arrive at God.
Sono, dirò una comparazione, sono come diverse lingue, diversi idiomi per arrivare lì.
Sort of a comparison, an example would be there's sort of like different languages in order to arrive at God.
Qualcuno è Sikh, qualcuno musulmano, qualcuno
Sikh, Muslim,
Hindi, qualcuno cristiano,
Indo,
ma sono
Christian.
diversi cammini.
They're different paths.
Can you begin to see the picture that's being painted here? To the undiscerning, itching ears, Kabbalah sounds incredible, with its promises and revelation of divinity within every single person and with every single thing. But when all paths lead to God, then good and evil will eventually become blurred lines. Soon, the ideas of what is good and what is evil will become reversed and inverted. Truth will no longer exist, and those who seek it will ultimately be despised and hated.
The higher secrets of the Kabbalah included instructions on how to kill a person with just one look. This is called the evil eye. The magical name for the evil eye is En-Ha-Ra. In a wax cylinder recording made in 1921, we can hear British black magician and part-time espionage agent Aleister Crowley invoking the fallen demon angel Raziel and En-Ra-Ha, the evil eye.
Aleister Crowley is one of the most famous practitioners of Kabbalah black magic. He founded the religion of Thelema in the early 20th century. He called himself the most wicked man in the world, as well as labeling himself the 666 beast from the book of Revelation in the Bible. Aleister Crowley's work served as a basis for the famous Babylon working ritual, performed by the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, and jet engine scientist Jack Parsons. The Kabbalistic ritual was an intense ceremony, performed for months, from January through March 1946, near the future site of what would soon become Area 51. Aleister Crowley's black magic is practiced heavily within the modern music industry. He's on the cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. Evidence of Kabbalah witchcraft permeates the Beatles' music and artwork. Aleister Crowley's famous slogan of "Do what thou wilt" is used by rapper and husband to Beyoncé, Jay-Z, on his clothing line. David Bowie referenced Aleister in the lyrics to Quicksand, and Ozzy Osbourne paid tribute to him with a whole song titled Mr. Crowley. Jimmy Page, the lead singer of Led Zeppelin, was heavily influenced by Crowley's writings and teachings, and he even owned a house that was previously occupied by Crowley. Do What Thou Wilt was also printed on one of Led Zeppelin's vinyl albums.
Since medieval times, the Jewish people have been considered a race of magicians. The biblical rabbis used shaman-type techniques to induce altered states of consciousness. Fasting, flagellation, and burying oneself up to the neck were all techniques used to prepare the rabbi-magician for a battle through the 7 portals of the Kabbalistic Tree of Life, where they would eventually meet the supreme deity in a realm called the Merkaba. Ritual sex magic was also practiced amongst some Jewish cults. Many temples had holes in the walls so that rabbis could ritually sodomize a prostitute, a young man or a boy, and invoke the fallen angel Raziel as they reached sexual climax. The word sodomy is derived from the name of the biblical city of Sodom, in which sex magic and also blood sacrifice were widely practiced. A strange version of vampirism, or blood drinking, is still practiced to this day by many rabbis, who suck the blood from the freshly severed foreskin of newborn babies.
In the halacha, in Yeridea, that's the second section of the 4 sections of halacha called the Shulchan Aruch, the set table. In chapter 266, halacha 3, 4, 5, and 6, he describes how the circumcision is to be done. He says after the cutting, the mohel does what is called mitzitza, and mitzitza means to suck, and it means doing so with his mouth. You have to have a quick suction action, you have to have more pliability. So saliva is not a bad thing. Saliva has elements of cleaning, of antiseptic elements within it, and the other part of it is that the suction process of the mouth is quicker, more pliable, and it's more exact and works much better.
For centuries, when a Jewish baby boy is born, the ancient ritual of circumcision is performed. Religious leaders, known as moyals, also engage in something controversial during the bris. In a practice known as metzitza b'peh, or just MBP, the moyal actually uses his mouth to suck the blood from the infant's penis after he cuts off the foreskin.
In his translation of the book called the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation, which is a basic Kabbalistic handbook that the priests had control over for hundreds, if not thousands of years, in his treatise, Rabbi Aryeh Kaplan says something incredible. The mouth and the genitalia are together with an expression of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. The genitalia and the mouth, what do they have to do? What do they represent? The mouth is also symbolic of the receiver, symbolic of the female element within the human, within the male. The Shekhinah, the divine presence, is seen as the mouth that speaks Torah. It's also seen as the receiver for all of the divine forces of energy that come from the higher levels and are expressed through the Malchut. And so creation comes from Malchut, and Malchut relates directly to the mouth that speaks truth, to the mouth that prays properly and says the words of Torah that are holy. The genitalia allows for the connection to combine, to create a living, breathing child. But it has to go through the process of the purification of the mouth with the genitalia. The idea behind it is that for a holy soul to be revealed, there has to be holy genitalia and a holy mouth.